Hey, this is Brandon Chase from Season 5 of The Voice, and you're listening to Dispatch Radio.
All right, with me now is Sarah Simmons. You guys would know her from The Voice. We're great to get to catch up with her, what's been going on, and what opportunities have unfolded since she was on the show. Sarah, how are you this morning?
I'm wonderful. How you doing?
Oh, we're doing great, and it's so great to hear from you. And I want to hear a little bit about what's been going on since The Voice. But before we do that, let's catch folks up a little bit on the show itself. And first off, how do you even, to get on the show? Because you've been doing music since you were a bit young.
Really young. Yeah. Well, it's kind of a little story. About 2 years ago, one of my best friends in the whole world told me to try out for the show, and I was like, what is The Voice? And cause I don't even have cable at the time. I had played 6 nights a week and went to physical music college, and would watch occasional movies, here and there. But anyway, he told me, he was like, Sarah, you should try out for the show. And I was like, no, I'm okay. I'm not going to, And then my president of my music college, his name's Ken Stortz, he was the founder of the band Skillet and played electric guitar for them and everything. But he started this school, and they asked him if they had anybody, if he had anybody at the school, he would refer to a private audition, which was the callbacks for all the other people to try out. And so he emailed me, and he was like, Sarah, will you please do this? We know you don't really, we don't know if you're really into this kind of thing, but me and all the teachers really, really want you to do this. At least just do the audition. And so I was thinking about it and praying about it and everything. And actually, my best friend that told me the first time to try out passed away in a tragic accident. And so I lost my best friend. And it was hard. It was really hard. But I felt like it was God telling me to try out, and he completely just opened the door for me. And I went on the show and actually got to sing a tribute song for Sean in Arms of an Angel. And I ended up getting all the way to top 8. And it completely changed my life. The opportunities now that's happening. I'm making my album in Nashville. I currently live in Los Angeles, but God brought me to Nashville for 2 months to record my album, and I can't wait to share it, and I'm so excited. So.
Wow, it sounds like well, first of all, it is an amazing journey and an amazing story, and tell folks a little bit about. So when you have your opportunity to do, and I love the video, the YouTube video. We'll try to link to that too, where folks can see you perform for the blind audition, and I tell you what, I as a viewer, you're just like, you're ready to yell at the screen. It's like, what's wrong with you other people? Why aren't you spinning around? What's going on? You're not hearing what we're hearing? It's like there was like a delayed reaction for them all to catch on to this amazing performance. When you're singing though, and there you are, you're watching, and one of them spins around. How hard is it to just not start yelling and screaming and cheering like I made it? I mean.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy exciting. Before I went out on the stage, I had a little bit of time with God, and I got pretty much like drunk in the spirit. Like, I don't know, I just got crazy peace came over me, and as I was walking, I was wearing the most uncomfortable heels ever, but I literally could not even feel them. It might have been that calm chamomile tea I drank earlier, but but no, when I was on stage and I was singing it, like I saw, Adam turn around and Shakira and at the beginning, and I was like, oh wow, that's exciting. But I was so in the moment that it was like I was excited, but at the same time I was just like, each performance I give, I always want to give it my best. And I always want to make sure that I'm completely in the performance at that time and saying and speaking the lyrics that are and what they actually mean, from my heart. And so I was really stoked and really excited, but at the same time I was really calm and sighed and was like, oh, that's cool. They just turned around, you know.
That's fantastic. So you in with The Voice, and you said you're in Los Angeles now, but you're doing your recording stuffs in Nashville. So
Right.
what happened right after the show? What things started to change? Because you were on the show, you did, like you said, you ended up in Final Eight. I mean, you did an amazing series of songs and did extraordinarily well. So what transpired next for you?
Well, it's kind of a God thing that I left right when I left with Judith, because the week afterwards, I got asked to sing for a bunch of things. I ended up getting to sing for the TV show Sons of Anarchy. They do a thing called the Boot Ride campaign, and it's connected with Marcus Luttrell from Lone Survivor. And so I got to sing the national anthem for their private event that they had, and met all the Sons of Anarchy cast, and that was really cool. They're really good people, and got to meet Marcus Luttrell, and that was only like weeks after I was on the show. And then I got to sing for the Housewives of Miami, the wedding of Roman Zago and Joanna Krupa. So that was fun and exciting. But what really, really was exciting was this film producer that found me through NBC, and his name's Marty Bowen, and he did movies like Twilight, Nicholas Sparks, The Nativity Story, Revenge, and all this amazing stuff. And he produced those, and he found me through NBC, had a meeting with me, and told me that he basically felt like God completely just, brought me into his life, and he felt like he felt from God that he was supposed to help me. And the reason that I'm here in Nashville recording my album is because of Marty Bowen and God. But that he had us cross paths, and he basically, he and his wife took me even to a Heal EB charity event, and I got to meet my favorite artist, Eddie Vedder, and then got to meet Catherine Keener and the comedian Zach Galifianakis, a bunch of people, and it was really crazy because it was like I didn't know what to expect when you meet people that, are extremely well known. You don't know what to expect, especially meeting like one of your biggest influences. You're like, oh gosh, I hope they're not mean, and,
So is that what happened is that what happens when you're meeting Eddie Vedder? You're just like, man, I hope he's really nice and cool, like I think he is.
Yeah, because they're like, his music helped me so much. I hope he's not mean. And he was the coolest guy ever. He was so cool. He's so sweet. But yeah, after the show, so many opportunities, but the biggest opportunity right now is instead of having to sign to a record label, Marty and his company are funding me for an album with one of their favorite producers who's in Nashville. His name's Marshall Altman. And he's done music for movies, like the Dear John, Nicholas Sparks movie, from Amy Grant to Brooke Fraser, so many people, Citizen Coke. And I just can't believe it. I really can't. I can't believe I'm here. I drove across country, actually, recently from California to here because I wanted to have my car with me and not have them have to do a rental car. And I definitely advise people, if you're ever thinking about driving a long drive, like across the country, I definitely advise it and totally encourage it, because even by yourself, like I did, because it completely just rocked my soul, and was such a refreshment. And, I got to Alabama to see my family, and sadly, my godmother is passing away from cancer right now, so I went and saw her and had my goodbyes, and then came up here. And my dad just got here today, and I haven't seen my dad in a long time. And so I just feel so blessed. I feel so blessed, and I just want to make sure that I give it all back to the one who gave it to me, So anyway,
we're talking to Sarah Simmons. If you're just now joining us, she is real popular from The Voice. She finished about 8th place on that show. It's amazing. We've been discussing some of her cool projects that have followed that opportunity. And now, of course, she's in studio working on Nashville, working on a new album. So it's a very exciting time. So let's go back, because you can't sneak name drops in on a show like ours and not have us go back. So Sons of Anarchy doesn't seem like the fit for little Christian Sarah Simmons, but you're like, oh, these people were so cool. So in addition to, I may have to track down a photo, because a picture of you next to a leather-clad Ron Perlman strikes me as just hysterical.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so
he was actually the one guy. He was the only one that wasn't there.
Oh,
Katie Seagal, but I met Charlie Hunnam, Tommy Flanagan, Kim Coates, Theo Rossi, Jim Smith, all these amazing people. They really were. They were.
All right. I won't insult your Christianity, but I think it's fair to say you can tell all the ladies Charlie is hot, isn't he?
Yeah.
Charlie's hot. See, it's true. These ladies, they all know. For all of you guys that are listening, you have no idea who Charlie is. You Google it up. Your wife will let you know. So there you go.
He was on he did that Pacific Rim movie recently.
Yes.
Which was pretty good. The cinematography was crazy sick.
Yeah.
And but yeah, he was really cool. But you know who I could not stop talking to, who actually was really encouraging, was Jimmy Smith and Tommy Flanagan. I don't know, it's like they saw me as this young artist, so they like sat down and like gave me like dad advice, and we're like, we want to make sure you do this and protect yourself and do this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay.
Papa Jimmy Smith, that's fantastic.
I don't know, he's actually a strong believer, and he gave me a lot of advice. He just kept telling me to, that people in the world, can be, especially in the industry, can, be drainers and try to just, use you and all this stuff. So he just was giving me really good dad advice. It was like, thanks, Dad. It was like, you're welcome, daughter.
That's a fantastic story. The behind the scenes of Jimmy Smith is a really cool guy. We hear the same kind of stories at our end of things, and I'd love to interview him someday.
Yeah.
We got to figure out how to hook that up. So.
Yeah. Well, and I do have pictures. If you would want to use some, you can for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm going to take some of that opportunity. You have to email
okay.
give me an email there. So, let me. We probably should get back to this interview, shouldn't we? You probably have places to be and people to talk to. More important than me.
Yeah, you're cool. No, you're great. You're good.
Let's talk about now, because you've got all this stuff going on. Like you said, your dad's finally back in town, and your whole life's been kind of like a whirlwind doing all this stuff. But what else do you do to kind of stay grounded in your Christian walk? This is some crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, what really was a huge test too is being in Los Angeles, because a lot of people are like, when you go to California, don't let Los Angeles change you, and it never did, because, I would say that I read my Bible every day, but I don't. I used to all the time, but I have gotten so busy where it is really hard. But I'll at least read. I've been reading this little book called Streams in the Desert, and it just has like a once a day kind of daily read, But again, it's like I definitely believe God is bigger than. Definitely the Bible is the knowledge and the word of life, But I do believe that God is even bigger than the Bible, And so I talk to him all the time. Every place I go, each place, each room I walk into to meet with people, I always pray, like, God be with me, and may I be a light to those around me, But also I really believe in, just like dwelling in God. It really helps me to sit, especially before I sleep, and when I wake up, I sometimes turn on. There's this guy in Alberta Rivera or something like that, but he and his wife have this instrumental / oohs and ahs music, and I'll just sit there and I'll just dwell and try and just sit there and listen, and I just ask God to, release me of all negativity and then fill me up with his rivers, you know.
Well, you know, you sound like you're so far ahead of the game though, because, and I always go back to this old school rocker, man. Christian band Stripers lead singer Michael Sweet told me in an interview one time about, you know, you'll wake up and realize that it's consuming you. You know, I'll go 3 or 4 days without realizing I picked up my Bible again. He said, but you know, God still loves you no matter what, and you just got to keep on keeping on and know that you're looking to Him, and the rest of it'll work itself out. So that is fantastic. Now, we do need to wrap up a little bit here, and I want to make sure I give you a chance to tell people how they can follow you. What is your, you know, are you on all the social media stuff? Are you one of these junkies too, or you're like Twitter and all this stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the generation thing.
Oh, yeah. I actually didn't have it. I mean, again, I didn't have cable before I watched The Voice, like before I went on it, you know. So they actually made fun of me when I got a Twitter because I called it tweeting, and they were like, Sarah, it's not tweeting, or it's not twitting. I said twitting. I was like, how do you twit? And they're like, what did you say? Well, they're like, twit? And I was like, yeah, twitting.
Well, I personally, I don't know what movie it's from. I got it out of a movie somewhere. They call it the Twitter and the Facebook. So whenever people are and they make comments, because I'm in the tech field, this is what I do. So of course we have Facebook and Twitter, but I don't do it. I don't do it very regularly. But I always joke about the Twitter or the Facebook, and people look at you. Same kind of thing. But I'll have to remember Twitter, twitting. I'll have to work that in. The Sarah Simmons lexicon of twitting.
No. But you can find me. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. If you go, it's Sarah Sim Music at Sarah Sim Music. And you'll see the little blue check mark thing, and it will come up. And then on Facebook, if you just type in my name, you'll find it there as well. If you just say Sarah Simmons. And then on Instagram, it's at Sarah Simmons Official. So, yeah, check me out there. And I have 2 singles out. One, it's a single, it's called Fall, and it came out this past fall. And it has nothing to do with the season. It's just a coincidence. And it came out on iTunes, and some people tweeted it that really helped me. I think that's why I charted so well. And I was like, wow, thank you so much, you guys. You know? And then I had a Christmas single come out, and it made it to number 20 on the Christmas single charts on iTunes, and it's called Little Drummer Boy. It's the cover of that. And so I do have some stuff out. And then my drive across country, I'm going to be posting. I got a GoPro 3. Those things are the bomb. And I documented all of my drive, and I'm going to be documenting my journey of recording. So I'm going to be making a blog here soon, and you can find that, the direct link on that, on my Facebook fan page or my Twitter account.
Fantastic. We're going to link to all this, so folks, you can check that out and listen to her songs and keep up to date with her work with the folks there in Nashville helping her record her first album. And we'll try to steal some of these photos from the archives of all these backstories, because that's a lot of cool stuff, and it's really a cool time. We'll definitely keep in touch and promote this kind of stuff for you, Sarah. So thank you again for fitting this into your busy schedule. I know you're just juggling a lot of balls right now, but God bless you and your time with your father. It's very special, of course. And be safe until we can talk again.
Sounds good.
All right.